Today on Vegan Freak Radio, Propagandhi, who cares? We have Chris Hannah from the aforementioned band on to talk about their new album, Supporting Caste, out March 10th around the world. Plus, calling 911 for your McNuggets? What the hell is Vegan Plus? We make fun of Mark Bittman. And your tweets, emails, and voicemails on this Vegan Freak Radio number 106 for the 4th of March, 2009.
Coming to you from high atop their elite fortress of moral superiority, here are your protein-deficient hosts, Bob and Jenna.
Hello, freaks. It's Jenna.
And Bob, and we're back again for another week of Vegan Freak Radio. Almost not back for another week of Vegan Freak Radio. We just sat here for the last half hour trying to figure out why our system was making us sound like we were from another planet. It was like playing with our voices in very weird ways.
Yes, which is weird because it wasn't doing it yesterday. It was doing it today all of a sudden, and so I used the tried and true method of fixing computer equipment, turning it off and on.
Well, this isn't computer equipment, this is an audio equipment.
Well, any kind of things that you plug in.
Electronics.
Electronics.
Yeah, I of course was being stubborn, looking for the best possible way to deal with it without resorting to turning it off and on, because I could not possibly wrap my head around the fact that turning it off and on again would work. But it did.
But it did.
So, and I know sometimes it does, but there you go.
Try turning it off and on.
Yes, anyone who's watched the It Crowd knows where that comes from. So anyway, we got a packed show for you today. On the issue of how one pronounces the name of that band, I want to know, some of you have ribbed me, have poked fun at us, have mentioned that perhaps we didn't get it right. I just want to play for you a quick little clip before our interview with Chris Hannah from Propa, whatever the hell you want to call him. I'm just gonna play this for you. Just listen. What is the preferred way to say the name of your band?
Well, it depends what region of the world you're in, but in Canada or in Winnipeg, they say Propagandhi.
Propagandhi. Okay.
But in the States, they say Propagandhi.
This is exactly the the question we were just discussing back and forth, because we've heard it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. We accept either interpretation.
Oh. Oh. Burn! Sorry. Anyway, yeah, moving on. We're going to have him on the show in the second half of the show. Mm-hmm. But in the first half, you have to put up with us.
Ha-ha.
So, that's how the show works.
Indeed.
You know, you got to have the commercials before you get the good stuff, right? So, but no, today on the show, we are fortunate enough to be able to play a couple of the songs from their new album, Supporting Caste, which I think is a phenomenal album. And we're going to do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Where are we starting? We are starting with, we have a couple of announcements and etc. These are things that people have sent to us or we want to pimp during our show. First of all, we got a nice magnet sent to us from Said and Jest.
Yes.
Forums. It says vegan motherfucker on it.
It does. And the motherfucker's written in like a, what would you call that font? Script? Cursive?
Cursive.
Some shit like that?
And now, is it vegan motherfucker or is it I'm a vegan motherfucker?
Probably vegan motherfucker. I don't know. I have no clue. Up to you to decide.
Yes.
Either way, I like it.
Either your interpretation is good.
Either way, I'm pretty pleased with it. So,
right. So thank you for that. And you can get that at Cafe Press.
Yes, you
if
can.
You would like your own.
cafepress.com/vegan-shark. So he says he would love to send them to everyone, but he can't, because money is limited. So there you go. cafepress.com/vegan-shark. Also, we have a Last FM user group for Vegan Freak Radio. So if you're on Last FM, you should get over there to that Last FM user group. It was started out by Psychedelia. Started this group a while ago, and now we're trying to kind of grow it a little bit for all the Vegan Freak Radio freaks who are out there on Last FM. Join the group. Be a joiner. Well, you can be a joiner in this way. It's not a bad thing. Join the group.
There you go.
We're looking forward to having you as part of the group. My Last FM profile is lastfm/user/vegan freak or something like that. I'm on there. Just look for me, Vegan Freak. Okay, so those are the announcements we have. Now we've got a bunch of articles we wanted to... I'm talking too fast today.
Slow down. Take a deep breath. Align your chakras.
Well, I wish I had my sensitive new age vegan music. I could play that. I don't have any right here. But I think what I probably need to do is just like chill out a little bit and like center my earth, center myself and just like get in the groove to receive some of those earth energies, I really think that's what I need to do is just like kind of get some earth energies going here, man. Just chill to some earth energy is what I need. Yeah.
There you go.
Now I can properly channel my spirit guide. I'm feeling more centered.
There you go. Oh, that'll uncenter you.
That's a drum and shit, man. No, that's my spirit guide. He's
okay.
pounding on the wall of my chest.
Okay.
That's his heart. That's my heart. He's pounding. Yeah. Okay, enough of that. Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, I just need to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Jenna.
Well, anyway, I think we're going to start off today by making fun of Mark Bittman.
Well, there's a lot to make fun of.
Yeah, we love to make fun of foodies.
Foodies are so annoying.
But they're easy targets, mostly.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of slow moving. Engorged as they are on all the happy meat they're eating.
But anyway, this is an interview with Mark Bittman, and we got this from Vegblog Orion on Twitter. Thank you. And where's this from? ExpressNightOut.com, it looks like.
I don't know.
Anyway, and it starts off with, Mark Bittman is stirred by fries and thrilled by a grill on a Tuscan hill. He shares his foodiness and his minimalist columns in the New York Times, in cookbooks on PBS, and on PBS, where he's pursued the best recipes in the world. So it comes as a bit of a shock to see that his new book is called Food Matters, A Guide to Conscious Eating. Just in case you're not sure what that means, he makes it perfectly clear. Lose weight, heal the planet. What happened? The answer lies in creeping weight gain. In 2006, the 6'1" gourmand hit 214 pounds, up from 165 at college graduation. Minor but notable health problems popped up: a rise in cholesterol and blood sugar, weakening knees, sleep apnea. Bittman, 59, began to adjust his diet and look into the way America eats. He found that the number one quote-unquote food contributing to America's calorie count is soda. Meat consumption is soaring, but animals raised in confinement yield meat that is unnatural and tasteless. And it turns out these food groups tend to be bad for the planet, too. It takes 2.2 calories of fossil fuel for a calorie of corn versus 40 for a calorie of beef, he notes. So Bittman is now a champion of veggies, legumes, fruits, nuts, and whole grains. So
well,
that sounds good.
Veggies, fruits, nuts, whole grains, good.
That's what we promote, too.
So what's the problem there?
But... okay, so this other part of the interview, the Express says, since you've lost the weight, you say your cholesterol's down and your sleep apnea is gone. Bittman says, I didn't care that I weighed a little more than I was supposed to. I think I carried my weight very well. It wasn't after the weight loss as much as lowering cholesterol. As it turns out, I couldn't do one without the other. My blood numbers are better, I feel better. It doesn't hurt that people come up to me and say, you look great. I do feel sometimes I walk around with this smug smile on my face. But I do like the fact that without really detracting from my quality of life, I'm helping doing my teeny little bit for global warming.
For global warming.
Global warming. I cannot talk today. What the hell? It's like my brain is not connecting to my mouth. Okay. Express asks, is your diet drastically different? And Bittman says, the big change is not eating meat. Almost never for lunch. Hear that. Sometimes not having meat or any animal product at dinner. And not having bread during the course of the day. That feels like a big change. It's beyond being a vegan, it's being a vegan plus. You can be a vegan and still have a really lousy diet, which is true. But at night, I eat whatever I want, period. And I think that's probably why many of my dinners have either meat or pasta and bread. By 7 at night, I'm dying for that stuff. That paragraph is just full of fail.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he contradicts himself. Like, his big change is not eating meat, but then he eats meat sometimes at lunch, and often at dinner, and at night, whatever he wants. So he says he changed his diet, but then at night eats whatever he wants. So did he really change his diet? I don't know.
He changed it for every part of the day except for the night.
Except for
the time he's working at night. But this vegan plus thing.
But the vegan plus thing is what really gets, yeah.
That's very frustrating.
Isn't the entire world vegan plus? I mean, unless you don't eat any vegetable matter at all.
Yeah.
Everybody's vegan plus.
I think you're absolutely right.
Unless you're only a vegan.
Well, then you're vegan. You're not vegan plus.
No.
I would say Bittman isn't vegan plus. He's not vegan.
Yeah.
So.
If you eat meat for dinner and sometimes for lunch,
you're not vegan plus.
You're not vegan plus. You're an omnivore.
You're vegan quite minus, actually.
Yeah.
It's like vegan, and you're not a vegan. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand why. I mean, I understand that it's like a convenient shorthand for him to say, well, I'm vegan most of the time except for X, Y, and Z. Like, for him, that's an easy way to describe what he's doing. But that is so troubling for people who are vegan because
exactly.
It's like we spend 90% of our time out there when we aren't dealing with other vegans trying to counteract all these misconceptions about what it is that we do and do not eat. And then you have a guy like this who goes, oh, I'm vegan plus, when he's not even a vegetarian.
No, like, not even close.
No, nowhere near it.
I know. So, yeah, so exactly. So then people, out there, we're out there. Also, well, you can eat meat just this one time, right? Or, I don't feel like preparing you something special. So here, you just eat this.
Just be vegan plus.
Yeah, don't be a pain in the ass.
I just don't think we need any more labels like this. Like,
yeah,
we don't.
Yeah, flexitarian seems to have gone out.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean,
we ranted a lot about that when we were first doing our show.
We thank the hummus for coming to our table.
I'm thanking the hummus that flexitarian has kind of flown away.
Yeah.
But, flexitarian, there's vegetarian, there's vegan. What else?
Strict vegetarian.
Localvore.
Localvore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
A compassionate carnivore. Yeah. Yeah.
Compassionate carnivore, though. I mean, what a ridiculous
thing. His new book's called, Food Matters, A Guide to Conscious Eating. And he says what that means is lose weight, heal the planet. Mm-hmm. He says nothing about ethics. Mm-hmm. Because I think he knows that he has no ethical foot to stand on if he's still eating meat.
But this is the thing, though, and we talk about this later on in our interview with Chris as well, that they do think they're doing something ethical.
I know.
But that's the troubling part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They aren't doing anything ethical.
Right.
I mean, okay, look, they're not treating animals as badly, right? The kinds of consumption that they're engaged in doesn't treat animals as badly as the kinds of consumption that an industrial farm is engaged in. But, I'm really not into comparing evils like that. I mean, ultimately, when you get down to it, you've got the same evil taking place in both places. In both situations, you've got an animal who is essentially enslaved. Mm-hmm. And you've got an animal that's going to die a horrendous, wicked, horrible, disgusting death in both situations. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can play fucking Yanni for the cow before you put it down, but it's still going to die. It's still going to bleed out. And its last final moments before that bolt gun goes through its brain are going to be moments in which it is confused and terrified in both situations. Mm-hmm. So I don't think people like Bittman and Michael Pollan and I don't know who the hell else, any of these jagoffs, I don't think any of them really are doing anything all that anything better.
No. I mean, he's taking care of himself because he's making himself feel better because he's eating a little healthier and he thinks he's doing something for the planet.
Right.
So he's making himself feel better, but that's about it.
I think that's about it, actually.
Yeah.
That's very frustrating, isn't it?
It is. Extremely. Extremely. And he's the one, he's always been, despite the fact that he can, I was just recently reading the New York Times, have a beautiful vegan recipes a lot of times in his column.
He does.
Gorgeous vegan recipes that are really tasty and look wonderful. And yet he is so afraid of the label and so afraid to go there. Because he doesn't want to be that extremist, Well, he thinks we're all ridiculous. I don't know if we go too far. And he thinks we don't need to go that far because he has his compassionate meat. Yeah. Quote unquote.
Do you think he thinks, well, yeah, I think he doesn't want to go that far. I don't know. I don't think he's afraid of being looked at as an extremist. I don't think that bothers him in the least. I think for him, it's just what it is for most people. It's like, I don't want to do it. They don't think it's necessary.
Right. They don't think it's necessary and they think it's too much of a pain.
Yep.
So.
Which is ridiculous.
It is.
As everyone knows. Well, no. Everyone doesn't know. We wish everyone knew.
Seriously. Yes.
Seriously.
Totally.
All right. So, what now?
Meat makes you stupid.
Happy Meat.
And in case you haven't been listening long enough, that is our Meat Makes You Stupid theme by DJ McBastard. And I think we fell out of playing it because we have so many stories where meat makes people stupid. Like, we could play this for the Mark Bittman thing,
yeah.
right? I mean, I think Mark Bittman makes Mark Bittman stupid. But usually we use it for acts of extreme stupidity, and we have one to share with you today.
Yes, thanks to LM from the forums. This is entitled, Fort Pierce Woman Calls 911 3 Times When McNuggets Run Out. And it's from newspaper in Florida. I think it's called TC Palm. Told McDonald's was out of chicken McNuggets after paying for a 10-piece meal, a local woman called 911 3 times. This is an emergency. If I would have known they didn't have McNuggets, I would have given my money. I wouldn't have given my money, sorry. And now she wants to give me a McDouble, but I don't want one. The McNugget meltdown happened last week in McDonald's in the 600 block of North US 1 and ended with Goodman 27 getting a notice to appear in court on a misuse of 911 charge, according to a recently released police report. Goodman told investigators she tried to get a refund for the 10-piece McNuggets, but the cashier told her all sales are final. I called 911 because I couldn't get a refund and I wanted my McNuggets, Goodman told police. The cashier told police she offered Goodman a larger portion of food for the same price to make up for it, but Goodman said Goodman got irate, the report states. Goodman reportedly yelled, I don't want a McDouble and a small fry. The dispatchers for 911 told police Goodman called the emergency number 3 times and on each occasion was told an officer was en route. Goodman maintained the attitude, this is an emergency, my McNuggets are an emergency, report states.
My McNuggets are an emergency. If that isn't a sign that the end times are upon us, people,
Yes.
I don't know what is. My McNuggets are an emergency. Even when I ate meat, and it was many years ago, I can't ever think about a time in my entire life where I would have said my McNuggets are an emergency.
No. I always hated them. They were nasty.
It's almost euphemistic.
Ugh.
Hey, my McNugget emergency. They are nasty. And you know the most disgusting thing about them? I could be wrong about this, and I don't know if it's true, but apparently the inside of a chicken McNugget before it is fried is like a liquid.
Ew.
It's like a liquidy kind of blob. And then it's fried, and then it's no longer a liquidy blob.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And you would always find occasionally hard little parts
Ew.
in them, and they just that's so foul.
You're making me feel sick.
Yeah, sorry
Okay.
everyone.
Anyway, so meat apparently does make you quite stupid. And
Yeah, calling 911 because you couldn't get your McNuggets.
yeah, but there's a flip side of it too, right? I mean, meat obviously has made this person stupid, or they were just stupid to begin with. But there's a flip side of it as well, and I think the flip side of it is that there are only like a few businesses that are doing well in this economy, and one of them is McDonald's. You know, and so perhaps this person didn't have a lot of money, and it's like serious, you know.
Well, I would be pissed off too if
Yeah.
I paid for food and they couldn't give it to me and then wouldn't give me my money back.
Sure.
I would be pissed off. Yes,
Absolutely.
But
I wouldn't call 911.
No,
Not at all.
no.
But again,
not 3 times.
But there are different cultural expectations too. Like, you know, if you don't have a lot of experience with the police, you don't know how to go to the police necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know you could just like file a complaint against someone or whatever.
That's true. That's true.
So-
I mean, you might not. That would be like, I want to talk to somebody in authority.
Call
Call
911.
911.
Yeah, but it is a misuse of
Right.
911
Yes.
because, you know, probably at that moment there was somebody laying on a pavement somewhere bleeding to death, and this woman wants her chicken
Yeah.
McNuggets. So I'm not saying I disagree with this woman being taken to court for using 911, for abusing 911, I guess is the right way to put it. So 911, 999, or that thing from the It Crowd is very funny. They have that 20-digit long emergency number, which is very funny.
So, remember the new number. That's...
Cool. So meat indeed does make you stupid. You want to do some Twitters?
Yes.
Let's do a couple Twitters.
Okay.
Whoa, that's loud.
Yes.
I have to remember to turn that down. Whoa. I think Michi walked across my soundboard.
Yeah, some knobs seem out of place.
Yep. A bunch of the knobs were wrong. The EQ on them was wrong. All kinds of shit. We've been trying to get people to kind of send us little tweets during the show. so we can talk about them on the air. And we can't promise you we will always talk about all of them on the air, but we thought we would do a couple here and there. Let's see. Barrett O'Brock, I apologize if I mispronounce names, says, so were you all serious about creating the VF bumper stickers? We already have them.
We do.
We're out of them right now, and they're on order, but we have them. But more generally about the sticker issue, I think we should get together like a pool of money and start just printing up some stickers.
Yeah, not like vegan freak stickers, but like go vegan stickers.
Right.
That aren't
cool.
associated with
anybody. Yep.
Yes.
Or that maybe, I don't know, we set up a site that has like abolitionist vegan information on it and links to things that are important and useful.
Yeah.
And we have those stickers with that link on it rather than sending people to PETA 2.
Exactly.
I think we need to start colonizing the youth, man.
Yes.
Seriously. So I guess if you're interested in that, we should start moving that forward. I think that's a good idea.
Not a bad idea.
And let's see, what else do we have in here? From M. Cam, who was on our forums. My sister is going vegan. Any ideas for turning her into one of us freaky vegans for life and making sure she stays that way?
When Vegan Freak 2.0 comes out, tell her to read it.
Vegan Freak 2.0 is a very different book from Vegan Freak version 1, actually.
Yes.
I think we're a little meaner than Vegan Freak version 1. In fact, I know we're a little meaner. Not mean. We're a little more direct in this version.
Direct. Yeah.
And I also think that we're a lot smarter now.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot more experience under our belt in not just being vegan, but talking to vegans and people who are not vegan yet and hearing a lot of the excuses and a lot of the reasons why people won't do it. So, yeah. Yeah,
but I don't want to give such a self-serving answer because I really think I really think that the answer is like to get involved in things, to make sure that I have this idea that you just can't really sit on your ass and be a vegan, right? Like living your life as a vegan, consuming the things that you consume, and the vegan, consuming vegan items makes you a vegan in at least the most minimal terms. But I think we need more than that if we're going to actually change the world. I think we need a lot of people who are going to like get up and start fighting the good fight. And so we need people who are going to organize, get together, and try to change things. So I think that that's really important for sure. So I think getting involved is actually a really key part. And I also think another key part of it is having a group around you who can support you. Even if it's only one other person.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even if it's a virtual group. I think having that kind of companionship is very useful. Because in this world that we live in now, it's like, it's so fucked up. It's such a screwed up world. And if you make a stand, even a stand that is as principled as veganism is, you're opposed to the exploitation and slaughter of animals, you make that stand, you're going to look like a freak. You're going to look like a weirdo. That's what the whole vegan freak thing is about. It isn't like we're freaks. I mean, we might be. But it's that everybody who is vegan becomes a freak the moment they make that decision.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that there are other people out there that think like you, so you don't feel so alone when you think like this, and you're not just fighting the good fight on your own.
That's right.
There are other people out there. So
that's why I think community is a really important aspect of it. Nikki Pickle sends a Twitter and says, just want to remind voicemail callers, don't speak really quietly, then suddenly really loudly. You're killing my speakers.
Yeah, we've had I've been listening to a lot of voicemails lately. We've had a lot of them too that people call on cell phones, and their cell phone cuts in and out and in and out and in and out, and we can't use those. Yeah. So, we might get a really good voicemail, but either like one of them today, I had to cut out a bunch in the middle, or we just can't use it because we can't hear it.
Yep.
So.
And I know a lot of you have free long distance on your voicemails. On your cell phones. But if you do and you want to use your cell phone to call us, try to get somewhere where you have a really good signal.
Yeah, and stay still.
And stay still. Don't move too much. Because another issue that we often, just cell phones have bad quality in general. Yeah. We won't do interviews with people on cell phones because they usually sound pretty crappy. One last Twitter before we move on to other things here. This one is from Kieran Brewer, and Kieran says, something to hammer fish eaters on. 47% of fish humans consumed comes from farms. And he adds another tweet where he says that this is, fish-eating vegetarians think that fish enjoy a nice life swimming around before being netted. Well, no, they don't. Half of them come from fish farms and fish farms are horrendous. I mean, they are just horrendous in terms of how the animals are crammed in, the toxicity that comes about through these fish farms. All that stuff is just horrible. They're bad for the environment. They're bad for the animals. And they just can't possibly be good.
Yeah, but even if they're swimming around in the ocean, I mean, I think that's just as horrible for different reasons. I mean, it's just for the ethical reason that you're killing this beautiful fish who's swimming around in the ocean, just plucking them away, and they're saying they're gasping for air, and you smash it, and kill it, and eat it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're over. I mean, the oceans are. I think any fishing is overfishing.
Yeah.
But they're overfishing to the point where the fish stocks are down.
Yeah,
so
it's not
significantly
sustainable at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it is a ridiculous thing. Yeah, I'm tired of fish eating vegetarians. I'm losing my patience for all kinds of things lately. I just think I'm like getting older and crankier. I really am. But you know, hey, that's how it goes. So I think we'll move on here and talk about our next thing. So we also received, and we'll come back into a couple more tweets in a bit. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we received this article, and for the life of me, during our technical meltdown prior to the show, I could not find the name of the person who sent this to us, and I feel badly about that. However, thank you. This is from Context, which is kind of this sociological thing.
Thing.
Yeah.
The technical term for it.
Well, there's a section called Sociological Images, Seeing is Believing. And this part of it talks about how, and these are images for use in sociology and related classes. And this article that we got is interesting because it takes this whole notion of like masculinity and meaning and kind of turns it around, you know? Mm-hmm. Well, no, it doesn't turn around. It turns it towards dogs.
Yeah.
So it takes like our human conceptions about, you know, meat being manly and applies it to our dogs, or to the dogs, you know, not our dogs, but all dogs that we live with. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was really strange, actually. It's a really strange ad, and it's Alpo's new Get That Dog Some Alpo campaign, in which dogs who enjoy stereotypically high-maintenance feminine activities, pedicures, massages, fancy food, and expensive accessories, need to be turned back into quote-unquote real, authentic dogs by eating meat in the form of Alpo. I thought it's very strange.
It is. It's bizarre. I mean, it's obviously aimed at the you know, the humans who are living with these dogs.
Of course. I mean, well, yeah.
Obviously. I know. But I mean, to play into this, and well, go ahead, read more before we go more on.
Well, there's no more to read. It's just images.
But there's like
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
But okay, so there are a couple images. We will link to this in the show notes for the show. If you get the email, you'll get it in the email, that kind of stuff. So there's a picture of what kind of dog is that? Collie?
It's a collie.
A picture of a collie in a bathtub. Okay. First off, I mean, I just object to putting dogs in these situations. Mm-hmm. You know, is the dog lying on her or his back? I don't know. Which, you know, a lot of dogs are not prone to do naturally for a long period of time.
Yeah.
In this bubble bath, which a lot of dogs obviously are not keen about. Okay, so the dog's laying in this bubble bath. They've got all these candles around. On a little plate is a biscuit. And,
Uh-oh, you said the magic B word.
Sorry, Em.
That's okay. Amy was distracted by looking at the cat, so.
Right. And on the plate is a little B word, and because you don't understand, like Emmy has very simple tastes.
Yes,
she does.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a couple things in life that she truly loves that like define her moments of pure pleasure. Mm-hmm. They're going out of the house. I'm trying to think of a way to say it without getting
a WALK.
Leaving the house, whether it be walking or in the car. So she likes that, and she likes her little treats.
Uh-huh.
What else does she like? Well, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Back to this thing.
But yeah, see, those two, WALK and the B word, are two of the vocabulary words she knows very well.
Extremely.
So we got to be very careful. She'll go nuts.
To the point where if she won't go nuts, but she'll come in
she's
and start
very
nudging.
excited.
She'll come in and start nudging my arm.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got to be careful. Anyway, dog in a bathtub, rolled up towel behind her head or his head. I mean, it looks like a her in this picture, like it's supposed to.
It's supposed to look like a her.
It's supposed to look like a female dog. And candles all around. I know. Get to the fucking point, Bob. And it says, for the real meat lover in the family. And it has this dog chilling out in the bathtub. It says, quick, get that dog some Alpo. So then you've got another picture underneath it of a dog that has all kinds of, what the hell is that all over that dog? It's being blow dried and kind of groomed. And
yeah, it's like a real frou-frou dog.
Right. So, and it says, quick, get that dog some Alpo. And there's another picture of I don't know what kind of dog that is, but I don't know.
Looks like a basset hound.
Okay. A basset hound being punched in the face by a cat. And it says, quick, get that dog some Alpo. And then there's a little part that says, enough with the doggy sweaters and doggy treadmills. Enough with the doggy daycares and $50 chew toys. At Alpo, we believe it's time to let dogs be dogs again. If you agree, come inside. Just check your sequined dog collar at the door. And then they have this little quiz. A little quiz. Which statement describes your dog? A, my dog won't dig in the yard because he's afraid he'll chip a nail. B, my dog never chews slippers, but we did catch him wearing high heels once. Now, that isn't only sexist. It's also, I mean, Christ, it's also like heteronormative out the ass.
No kidding.
Anyway, my dog can bark the words, I'm a little teapot. My dog enjoys watching college football on weekends. Well, we can guess which one will make your dog a Fido and which one will dog your... Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which will make your dog a Fifi?
Yes. Yes, because heaven forbid, I mean, it's ridiculous. Trying to live your masculinity through your dog is just unbelievable.
Well, people do it with their kids.
I know.
So, these like...
I know.
Old guys who like sucked at every single sport they ever tried, and they like make their kid go play football even if they don't want to or whatever.
I know.
So
I know.
There's another set. Your dog knows his way around the A, red carpet. B, a doggy psychiatrist's couch. C, accessory aisle at the pet boutique. D, hindquarters of every other dog in the neighborhood. I'm guessing that being sexually active makes you more manly.
Apparently.
Makes you a Alpo dog. Makes you a Fido and not a Fifi. So, yeah. It's just ridiculous, though, because what you see is this, this kind of linking together between masculinity and pets, companion animals. It's like, it's so fucked up.
Yeah. And not just making that link, but doing so in a horribly sexist and homophobic way.
That's right.
Horribly. I mean, to putting down everything that's, traditionally associated with being feminine, whether you're a woman or a man. Ridiculous.
It is completely ridiculous. And the article here says, you might want to use this to talk about the associations between a certain working class masculinity and authenticity in opposition to the way femininity is often connected to artifice and fakeness. I mean, I think it's really interesting. That's what the article, this is for talking about in class. This is the kind of thing I actually would have used in my sociology classes pretty often.
It's great. It's a great example.
Had I not quit teaching. But anyway, this is one of those things that it really shows kind of how the gender dimensions that we kind of construct around everything get applied even to animals that don't have our gender roles. They just don't.
I know.
They have no conception of our roles of gender.
No, none whatsoever.
And so we have to, of course, watch out for the real meat lovers in the family. So,
because those people who don't eat meat, we're just pansies.
Yeah, we are. We're definitely pansies. We're not real men.
No. Men
who eat meat. Speaking of that, a lot of times when I used to teach, I used to have students ask me very often, did your wife make you do it? And I would say, no. Why would you think that? And I say, well, I don't know. It's just weird for a guy to be a vegan, and I don't really know why they would do it. And I would say, even if my wife made me do it, do you think you'd find me teaching a class on it that you're sitting on?
Yeah, I made you teach that class.
Not only did you make me teach it,
I made you write a book about it too.
Yeah, and you brainwashed me. Yeah. That's what it was. You brainwashed me. You totally colonized my ideological perspective on life and destroyed me. Yeah. Destroyed me. Yeah. But these are the many ways in which sexism operates.
Indeed.
Let's move on.
Okay.
So, do you want to do some voicemails?
Sure, let's do some voicemails.
Time once again for some vegan freak voicemail. Maybe we'll hear from a hot chick
or a choice male.
Callers make us happy and help us keep our sanity, even if all they wanna do is fucking complain about the shitload of profanity.
Hi, Bob and Jenna. This is Allie. I go to a small school in Rhode Island. Well, not too small, but kind of small. And I'm pretty sure that I'm the only vegan on campus. I started up an animal rights club, and we have a bunch of vegetarians in our club, but no vegans. But I was looking for some advice because our cafeteria doesn't serve vegan food. I mean, we have soy milk and raw tofu every day, all day, and cereal. So I pretty much have pasta, raw tofu, and cereal. And I'm not even sure if the pasta is vegan. But, you know, I don't know what else to eat. So last year, me and some friends got a petition going around, and the policy is that if you get 200 signatures, they have to do something about it. And we had about 770 signatures asking for more vegan options in the cafeteria. And for about 2 weeks, they had some more options, which was great, and then gone, and still gone. And we've talked to the manager multiple times, and he said that he's going to improve it, but still nothing. So, yeah, I mean, there's been, like, some of my friends have just become vegetarian and are looking towards veganism because they realize that vegetarianism is kind of pointless. But at the same time, there's no healthy food options at my school for vegans, so they're having a bit of a dilemma with becoming vegan, and I'm planning on staying vegan, and but it's difficult, so looking for some advice. Thanks. Bye.
Well, my advice would be go to the administration. I think. Because if the people at the dining services are not listening to you, then you need to go above their heads, perhaps.
Could be.
Maybe. I don't know. It might not work, but it's worth a try.
It sounds like you have enough people who are interested in the options.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine that other people would like something else to eat sometimes too, you know?
Yeah.
Some other options. And, I mean, you can't be healthy living like this at all. And it's ridiculous. And you have to, if it's a situation, especially if it's a situation where you have to pay for dining services, or, you know, you did pay this money,
right,
because you live on campus or whatever. And if you don't have a lot of money to eat other options, you know, this is what you're stuck with. So I would try to make a little bit more of a stink. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
But I think in the meantime, until something happens, I think you really do need to take care of yourself.
For sure.
If you have a microwave or something, go somewhere and get at least, you know, some foods that you can cook that might be a little healthier. Get yourself some vegetables, some fruit that you can eat around your dorm, at least, you know, to satisfy some of the things that you're not getting in the meantime.
Absolutely. And I don't know what kind of school it is, but if it's a small school, like you said, they're often very customer and parent oriented. And by customer, I mean like you as a student. But sometimes they won't go to the trouble of doing these things unless you have like a parent there who's going to kind of say, well, I'm paying, you know, whatever X number of dollars a year it may be to have my son/daughter, whatever, go to this school, and he or she cannot eat anything. So sometimes that kind of parental pressure helps a lot if you call like a senior administrator and just kind of apply that pressure. But I think it's just a matter of applying a lot of pressure. I think, you know, in the experience I've had with this, the change comes slowly, but it comes. It just takes a while. I mean, you got to think about these things as just massive bureaucracies. So bureaucracies just move really slowly. Not that that helps you, because you need to eat. And like Jenna said, you really need to take care of yourself. But I also think it's just going to mean you being a real pain in the ass. I mean, as hard as it is to do that all the time, I think it's super important just to be annoying about it and to kind of get on people to get them to do it, you know?
And there's an article out there somewhere, you might want to do a search online, that says that, you know, this is becoming a more and more popular option, and schools are doing it to look good, you know, like having all these different kinds of food options available, like vegan food.
Sure.
And it's, they're, you know, some of them are even advertising it because it's like, look, hey, we've got this great dining services. Woo! So maybe, you know, show that to them too. Like, look, you're behind the times. Absolutely.
And, you know, I also think that there's a whole argument to be made here too, in that you could say to someone, well, who's in this position within a dining establishment, that labeling of the food is really important. Getting more vegan options is really important because of this marketing aspect, but also because of allergy issues and sometimes religious issues.
Exactly.
Some people want vegan food for those reasons, or, you know, food that doesn't have certain ingredients in it. So I think all those things together, it's worth making a pretty good, a thorough and convincing argument about why you would want to get your school to be more into the vegan options, and just you probably have to stay on them. And you may have to find the people who are at the very top and keep hitting them and annoying them. But I think eventually most schools will come around to that in time if they know that there's a demand for it. I think from their angle, a lot of them are afraid that they're going to get this stuff and no one's going to eat it.
Yeah.
So, but I think if you've already proven that there's demand, I mean, you've got all the signatures. It's just a matter of kind of pushing on it.
Yeah.
Good luck. All right, moving on.
Hi, Bob and Jenna. This is Kate again. I was wondering if you could do another Old Man Bob segment, because I really liked the last one, as I said in your last podcast, and I'm saying it again, because it was good. Also, I was wondering, I have a question. Is it vegan to pick up antlers in the woods? Okay. That's about it. Bye.
Well, that's actually a very good question.
It is an amazingly good question. And a tough one to answer.
It is a hard, well, yeah. The answer's not straightforward. Let's put it that
that's
way.
why. It's not like a simple yes or no.
Right.
The answer is mostly not.
Okay. And why would you say that?
Because,
dear Jenna?
Well, actually, you and I were discussing this earlier.
We were.
And we were saying how, well, no, animals were killed. You didn't kill the deer to
Right.
get the antlers. You just found them there.
Right.
But at the same time, A, it's kind of gross, I think.
A little, yeah.
To pick up things from dead deer in the woods. And B, that doing so shows that it's okay for us to use and have products from animals. So even though you didn't kill it, you still have it lying around, and it's like a reminder that, like, hey, I got this. And so I think a better alternative, if you think it's really cool looking, is to take a picture.
I agree.
Take a picture of it, and take a picture of cool things in the woods. That's always fun.
I think that's a good way to put it. But I mean, to be clear though, no one, if you just found them there, and presumably I don't know, no one had killed the deer to get them.
Right.
There's no one's being hurt in that situation, right? I mean, so there's nothing essentially wrong with that. But like Jenna said, I think taking them is I don't know. There's something about it that just, it doesn't sit right with me, in the sense that we don't want to have these things, because we want to show that we're like, being vegan part of being vegan is living in a way that shows that we don't need to do these kinds of things. Like, we don't need to have the products from animals. We're trying to trying to show people that the world can be different, that we can live in a different way. And so I think what you raised is a really good point there. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
So that's what I think. I think your advice, take a picture of them, is a really good advice, actually. So I don't want to be too gory, but I mean, think if you were walking through the woods and you found like a human leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like human bones.
Yeah, or like human bones.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to take those home.
No.
So,
although we were mentioned earlier that our dogs would probably be thrilled.
I was going to say, that would be like the find of the century for any dog, but certainly not the find of the century for any human who was not a serial killer.
No.
So, yeah, these are the things. Well, actually, serial killers usually. Well, I don't even want to get into it. So these are the things that I think we got to think about, Cade. And an old man segment. Well, here's the thing about the old man segments. I have many ideas for them, but I don't want to overdo them. What do you think, Jenna?
Yeah. Well, we don't worry. There will be one soon.
Like, maybe now. So I think on the next show I'll do an old man segment. I just don't want to do them too much. But I do have a good. I think old man Bob will make an appearance on the next show.
Yeah. Because
if you do it too much, it just gets really old. And I do want to bring the sensitive new age vegan back too.
Yeah.
But he's a while. He made a brief appearance through the spirit guides today on the show. But yeah. So let's move on. Thanks for that voicemail, Cade. That was a very good question. I mean, what a sophisticated young man.
No kidding.
To ask a question like that.
Yeah. I would never have thought of something like that when I was his age.
No, not at all.
No.
And I mean, the amount of reflection that's clear in that, and kind of just like how smart he must be to think like that.
And trying to understand what being vegan really means.
Right.
Yeah.
He really has a handle on what it means to ask a question like that. It's so impressive.
Yep.
So, very cool. All right. We have a voicemail now from Jessica.
Hey, vegan freaks. This is Jessica from North Augusta, South Carolina. I'm going to try to talk fast because I have a lot to say. First of all, you should call this line the vegan therapy line, because it's like all of us call you guys to, vent and voice our frustration. So it's kind of therapeutic. But I'm on my way back home from my mom's house. She's going through chemotherapy, so I'm driving to her house a lot, back and forth. And it's the most not vegan drive ever, and it's driving me crazy. I passed stockyards with all these cows standing out in the rain that broke my heart, and I've passed like a taxidermy place, and I've passed all of these farms with cows sitting outside, and I passed a rodeo, and I passed this one like baby cow farm, and they have all these adorable little igloo houses, and it just breaks my heart, and I want to pile them all up in my car and take them with me. But so I wanted to call a bit about my 3-hour non-vegan drive. I should write some little plug-in or something for the Garmin that says, take me on a vegan route that will totally avoid stockyards and farms and rodeos and all that stuff. I think that would be the coolest thing ever.
That would be.
That's probably what I'm going to do when I get home, and see if I can find some sort of API or something so I can program my Garmin to not drive by baby cows in little igloo houses. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Love the podcast. You guys kick ass. And I listen to you guys every time I'm coming home from my mom's house, but it probably makes it worse because I'm listening to you guys and then I'm seeing all of these cows.
Oh, man.
But anyway, you guys have a great day. You rock. Talk to you later. Bye.
Well, thank you. And I hope your mom pulls through.
Yeah, I hope she's okay.
I know it's a tough thing to do. So I hope she's okay.
Yeah, that would be great if we could have routes,
vegan
routes to drive. Cool. But up here, we'd never go anywhere.
No, we wouldn't,
because there are farms everywhere. So,
yeah, I think it's really interesting though, because like when you're in urban America, you see animal exploitation, but you don't see it as starkly as you do in rural America. You know,
it's like she said in her area, it's everywhere, and up here, it's everywhere. And you see the cows out in the field and in the barns, and it's really sad.
Yeah, when I was driving to work and I would go teach my animal rights class, I have to drive by at least 3 dairy farms. They're not big ones, but they're dairy farms. I have to drive by these 3 dairy farms, and I would get to class. My students would say, "Well, how you doing?" And I said, "Well, I just drove by all the dairy slaves," and they would laugh. And I was, but no, I mean, like it sounds funny, but they're slaves who are stuck on these farms producing dairy. They have absolutely no ability to do the things that they naturally want to do, or very little ability. And it's just sad.
It is sad.
Everybody else can kind of look at it and ignore it, but I think as vegans, it's so hard for us to kind of not look at it and think too much about it. And that's been one of the really hard things for me about writing Vegan Freak too, is that I'm reminded of all of these things. Like I know them at a logical level, but when I write it, I actually feel it very emotionally.
Yeah, it's hard. Because
to do good writing, you actually have to kind of grapple with the writing.
I know.
So I really think it's hard.
Yeah, I know. Up here, it's especially hard when you go past places. There's one place that has a big sheep farm, and there's another place that usually have goats out, and they're so cool looking. And like it's cool to just sit there and watch them like hang out with each other. And and then one day you drive past and they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
And you know where they went, and it's really sad.
It is sad because I've seen animals who have been out in the fields, and where we live, the land is not appropriate for super intense agricultural production in most places. So we actually we're still in the minority of areas where you still have animals that are outside, right? Most reared animals never see outside very much. But up here we still see animals, and every so often, like I will see a calf running towards its mother, and you can see it run over, and you see these 2 cows licking one another and rubbing up against each other, and you can just see this kind of companionship that's there for cows. And you can see, I've seen it with sheep. I've seen it with the goats around here. And it's nice to see that.
Right.
But it's also depressing because it's like looking through the fence at a concentration camp and seeing a mother hugging her son. It's completely sad in that regard.
It is.
Because, you can just, it's a horrible situation.
Yeah, you know how the story ends. And
right.
It doesn't end well.
It doesn't. So it is sad, and but I also think that bearing this stuff in mind is part of really living your life as a vegan. And I think we need people who are ready to kind of take this message to other people in a sense.
Yeah.
And get other people to think about it in these terms, because most people don't even think about it like this.
No, it doesn't even occur to them.
No.
At all.
It really doesn't. And I think that as a vegan, your knowledge of that, your understanding of that situation means that you have to then take it to others and get them to see it too.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
All right, Nicole.
Hey, vegan freaks. This is Nicole, Lammy Pie on the forums. I'm listening to Podcast 101, and where John McCain is going, I don't know if you guys have seen, but go on YouTube and look up Mick Penguin. I believe that's what it's called. It is John McCain as Batman the Penguin. You should check it out. That's all. Bye, guys.
I didn't look at that yet. If I start looking at it now, I'm going to get too distracted.
Yeah.
What was it, though?
Mick Penguin?
Mick Penguin. Well, guess what?
I haven't looked that up
I'm
yet.
going to get distracted.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
All right.
Mick, Penguin. Let's see. All right. John McPenguin. John McPenguin. Actually, the McPenguin 08 is pretty good because it mirrored a debate very well. I remember I did see that one. This is John McPenguin loading very slowly.
How about Sarah Palin last night?
There you go. It's actually pretty funny. He's dressed like the penguin.
How about the job she did?
They digitally altered a little hat and...
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So check that out. Hi. There you go. There's an old man for you. Now on to Rachel.
Hello, Jenna and Bob. This is Rachel from Indiana, and I am a huge fan of your podcast, avid listener, since several years ago. Been vegan for a couple years and vegetarian for 4, and I owe a lot of that to you. So
thank you.
Thank you very much for all that you've done for me and everyone else. I just want to alert you to something that I think is quite possibly one of the dumbest things I've come across in a long time.
If you've come across some of the dumb I've come across, that's saying something.
It was in the New York Times, an article about a campaign in England to save the red squirrel by eating gray squirrels. Apparently, the red squirrel population in England is being overrun by the gray squirrel population, which is from North America. And so all of a sudden now, squirrel meat is this really popular boutique-y thing for people to eat and buy at farmers markets and restaurants all over the UK.
Fantastic. Now we're going to see Gordon Ramsay, telling someone with their heads up their ass because they can't braise a squirrel correctly.
So first of all, that's fucked up. Second of all, there's a part in the article in the New York Times that says people have a hard time deciding between the cuteness factor and the deliciousness factor when choosing to eat a squirrel. And I just read that and fucking fumed. It's like more like, the ethical and unethical factor, but whatever. People are morons. I've resigned myself to that fact. And one other thing that caught my attention in the article is that apparently you have to kill a squirrel with a headshot because if a bullet ends up in the body, it's useless and can't be eaten. And you're supposed to avoid eating any part of the head anyway because squirrel brains are linked to the human form of mad cow disease. Okay, honestly, this is one of the stupidest things I've read in a really long time. Just one of those many, many examples of how idiotic omnivores can be, and people and their stupid novelty meats just drives you crazy. But anyway, thought I would point that out to you and just vent a little bit. Thanks. I feel so much better now. All right. Stay vegan, stay freaky. Thank you so much. And I enjoy your podcast. Look forward to hearing more. All right. Bye.
Well, thank you for that. That's so bizarre.
It is bizarre.
I mean, it's not bizarre. Humans will eat like anything with 4 legs.
Yeah.
I've seen crazy shit in my day, but it's a strange, okay, eat the gray squirrels because the gray squirrels are overrunning the red squirrels. It's like a strange response.
It is a very strange response. Like not just kill them, but let's kill them and eat them.
Yeah.
It's
and the whole thing about this, conflict between the cute and deliciousness.
I know. So it's okay, but Bob, it's okay to eat not cute animals.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. Ugly animals are fine to eat.
Right.
Ugly people are fine to eat too.
And stupid animals too.
Ugly, stupid people are fine to eat. Oh man, if only. Tell Mark Bittman and the foodies that ugly, stupid people are fine to eat. Yeah, we would. The planet would be underpopulated very fast. I'm just kidding. It's very frustrating to hear things like that. It's like the thing I find most frustrating sometimes about being vegan, actually, is that the idea. I mean, I think I was telling you this the other day. The idea of veganism is so beautiful in its simplicity. Mm-hmm. It is really straightforward. It is really simple. It is so easy to wrap your head around. It really is.
Yeah.
And yet almost nobody gets it.
I know.
We're at the point now where more people believe they've been abducted by aliens from another fucking planet than are vegan in the United States today. 1.2% of people today think they're vegan in the United States. Something like a third or a quarter of people think they've been abducted by fucking aliens. What? What? I mean, come on. What is this? Is this like weird alternative universe of logic? Have these people's brains fallen out of their ears? Am I going to find out that Soylent Green is people? What is going on? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't either. I really don't. You don't need to eat animals to live.
You don't. You don't.
Period.
You do not. So, all right, that's the voicemail. Thank you, everyone, for the voicemails. We're at 267-295-1944. My voice is cracking like it's on your refrigerator door.
267-295-1944. Write the number down on your refrigerator door. Add the 001 country code if you call us from Vienna. That's how you leave a voicemail for good old Bob and Jenna.
Okay, maybe we should go back and do some more Twitters. Okay, what do we have here in the queue? Let's see. This is from Nikki Pickle. Did I read it? Yeah.
Yes, you did.
When are you guys going to start doing a video podcast?
Never.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about video podcasts. I wouldn't say never because we actually did a few way back in the day. Yeah. I asked iTunes to remove the link to them because we never updated them. I wouldn't say never. There's a chance one day we might.
Maybe.
But I don't think we make it a regular thing.
No.
Do you know the thing that I like about doing the radio is that right now I'm wearing like a grungy ass, horrible looking t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's an old.
I have a sweater with many holes in it.
You do. You do.
That I have on.
Yep. I just look pretty sloppy. I don't know. I don't have to like worry about how I look. I can just sit down and talk. You know, I just have to make sure I'm awake enough to sit down and talk. If it's a video podcast, I have to make sure that there's like no ridiculous shit behind me in the camera.
That's true. There's nowhere in our house that's clean enough for that at the moment.
Well, yeah, we do have a lot of dog hair and such around the house. So, you know, those are the obstacles to a video podcast. Yeah. However, I can understand that some of you may want to know either what we look like. And by the way, can I just say, I'm afraid to actually even say this. There's this picture of the two of us from that Newsweek shoot a while ago. I can't stand that picture.
It's horrible. We both look horrendous in it.
We do. It was taken at a bad time in our lives.
Oh, yeah.
And we had not been sleeping much at that point for a variety of reasons. We both look sick and tired. And on top of it all, we're eating fucking salad.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's not a good picture.
No.
So I really dislike that picture. And of course, the Stuff White People Like article. How many times have people told me, you know, have you seen that Stuff White People Like? Do you know you're on Stuff White People Like?
Yes, we do.
It's been, during the first 2 months it was out, it was every day. Every day. Except for weekends. Because we don't talk to anybody on the weekends. Every day for like 2 months. I heard a different person would come to me and say, I saw you on that site. And now it's been probably once a week or once every other week for a whole year since then. I mean, okay, not that we don't appreciate people thinking of us, but it's just a little frustrating. Anyway, the pictures. Yeah. So I don't even like the pictures of us that are out there that are still pictures. I mean, you know, moving pictures are another thing altogether. But I can understand that, you know, you probably want to know what our dogs are like, or you probably want to know what we look like, things like that. Because, you know, you listen to us. I always wonder what people on the radio I listen to look like. You know, people on the radio. Yeah. I wonder what they look like. So I can understand you might want to know that. But we're really not, I don't know. Also, the other thing is like, we're really not in it. Like, it's not about us and like, no, we're really not in it for go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say, you also have to have a different kind of presence to be in a video than on the radio, I think. So.
Although, if you go on YouTube, I mean, there's so much ridiculousness on YouTube. It's like, it's really insane.
And you're right, it's not about us.
Well, no, not really. We're just kind of we're just channeling the earth energies, man. Okay. So another question from Vehement Vegan. Read today about GM, genetically modified foods, specifically tomatoes and strawberries modified with fish genes for frost resistance. Thoughts? Yeah, my thoughts are pretty straightforward on that.
Not vegan.
Don't like GMO crops, period.
Yeah, I before I started writing a lot of stuff on animal rights movement and issues like that, my main area of research was in looking at the negative societal impacts and negative economic impacts of genetically modified organisms, mostly plants, within the global economy. So I have a lot of difficulties with genetically modified foods with companies like Monsanto, and I think these things are extremely dangerous. No one is exactly sure how, or at least I haven't really done a lot of reading on this lately, so it may have changed. But at the time when I was doing a lot of reading on this, no one was exactly sure how someone would respond to, say, a tomato with fish genes in it.
If you're, say, allergic to fish.
Right. If you're allergic to fish, no one was exactly sure. Would you be allergic to that tomato? Well, it depends, right? It depends on what genes or what you're allergic to in particular.
Well, what you doing?
He's being goofy. Anyhow, I think in general it's a bad idea, and I think that we're taking a lot of risks with a lot of the genetic modifications going on in terms of crops.
Yep.
All right. Satisfy the mind. Damn it. I hope I didn't miss the twittering window for Vegan Freak Radio. If you could, name 25 random things about yourself. Nah, just kidding. Okay.
I thought of something for that one question we had last time.
What was it?
The about the vegetable that we hadn't had before or something like that.
Dimewap.
I actually, until recently, like maybe it's been like a year or so.
Right.
Had never had collard greens before.
Yeah. I'd only ever had them like fried in bacon fat.
I don't think I've ever. I mean, if I had eaten them, I didn't know it.
Sure.
But I don't think I've ever had them before. And then recently, we've been finding them in our grocery store, unbelievably.
That's because of Vincent, though. We've been eating them.
Yes,
more
but
often.
we've been more often because Vincent has them in a lot of his recipes.
Yeah, we're testing a cookbook through Tofu Hound Press, New American Vegan, and Vincent has collard greens in many of his recipes. The author. So we had a chance to kind of get acquainted with them on completely different terms.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like spinach's heartier cousin.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to really put it. They're a little chewier. They're a little more bitter.
Mm-hmm.
They're good, though.
They're good.
They're
I
super
like it.
good. So what else we got here? From Buchanan, we have, how do you guys feel about fake meats? Are they morally wrong? No.
No.
Well, no. I mean, I don't think they're morally wrong.
No, they're tasty.
Yeah, they are. I can see the argument, like, we're trying to show that we can live life without animal products, but I think this shows you can live life without animal products.
Yeah, it shows you, you can have the same form factor
Uh-huh.
as an animal product and have nice chewiness and tastiness, but without the animal.
Absolutely. Snowboard Bunny says, what is the best way to handle dinner with an athlete who tells you that they feel better when they eat meat protein? Punch them in the throat and walk away. No, I'm just kidding.
Point them to, I don't know, I would point them to any of the vegan athlete sites out there. I mean, there's people who run ultra marathons, who run 100 miles and are vegan. There's that Brendan Brazier guy. He does all that Vega stuff.
There are tons of people.
There are tons of people out there. Weightlifters. There's like a kettlebell guy who's vegan.
Oh yeah, Mike Mahler.
Yeah, there's I would point them to their sites. Like, you don't need to eat. Perhaps maybe you're saying, like, okay, if you think you need meat to feel better, maybe there's something wrong with the way you were eating vegan. Maybe you need to just reevaluate what you're eating and get a nutritional analysis and figure out what it is that perhaps, I don't know, maybe you were just eating some weird balance of things. I don't know.
But a lot of people don't give it any time either.
No.
I mean, like, they might not eat meat for one day, and then they don't feel good. And they're like, well, it's definitely meat.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that that's one of it. My inclination in those situations is usually, if I try to gauge where the person's at, right? It's like, if it's someone who's interested in veganism and they say, I'm really interested in being a vegan. I tried it, but my athletic performance declined. Then I'll do exactly what you just suggested. I'll say, well, you should look into X, Y, and Z. Or if it's just like this kind of, knucklehead asshole who's like, I feel better when I eat meat. It's like, I just give up. I look at everything as triage. Like, I've got only a limited amount of time in the world. It's a fucking emergency. Billions of animals are being killed. It's like, am I going to waste 15, 20, 30 minutes of my life trying to talk to someone who has like a double-digit IQ about why they need to go vegan? Or am I going to spend my time talking to people who I think I might be able to reach? At the juncture that we're at right now, I'm going to spend the time talking to people who I think we're going to try to reach. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
Actually, there's one quick thing, though, that you can say to these kind of people who think that you can only build muscle with animal protein is that horses, cows, every other herbivore out there builds all that muscle that you're eating by eating grass.
Well, there you go.
And plants, and that's all they eat.
Good answer.
So, there you go.
All right. How many more of these do you want to do?
I don't know.
We have...
A lot?
We have a few. I'll pick a couple more that don't look too involved.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. People never seem to complain when we do long shows.
No.
Pause it. If you listen to your iPod, pause it. You come back. It'll be there tomorrow.
That's true.
We're going to give you a lot of bang for the buck today.
All right.
Why not? Because we haven't done a show lately because we've been organizing this propaganda stuff, writing, crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is from XXAVBXX. I live with 3 roommates. All of us are vegan except for one, and he is not receptive to it. How can we deal with his meaty habits?
Boot his ass. No.
Here's what you do. Shut up! You scream that at him, and you find a roommate. You
play propaganda songs and show him the lyrics, and
depends on who it is.
I know.
It depends.
It depends on why he's not receptive to it.
Yeah, I it's tough to know. I think it really it varies anywhere from politely inviting him to move out. I hate to say it like that, but if there are 3 of you that are vegan, actually wait, all of us are vegan except for one. So there are 2 of you that are vegan. No wait, she lives with 3. So there are 3. Basic math with Bob.
Who here can tell Bob what critical thinking means?
Who here can help Bob with math? Okay, there are 4 roommates. All of them are vegan but one.
Okay, so there are 3 vegans.
I feel like I should be playing the Mr. Rogers theme in the background. Anyway, if there are a bunch of you that are vegan and, that's working for you, it might make sense just to kind of wait the person out, in a sense. Like, okay, well, let's have a vegan house. Let's just wait this guy out or this girl out, and there you go. Oh, it's a he. It's a guy. So let's just wait the guy out. That's one way to go. Another way to go is if you think he's he's not receptive to it at all. I presume by not receptive to it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he'd move in with 3 vegans in that situation.
I don't either.
I
don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just let him know. Look, we're there 3 of us, and you at least need to respect what we, how we're living our lives here. So deal with it.
I think so. I think so. That's not a very creative answer to the question.
No.
I think it depends on what my inclination would be to say. It depends on how much of a relationship you want to maintain.
Right. Right.
Like how badly do you still want to be friendly with this person? I think that's a question you need to really ask. Another question we have here is, hi, Bob and Jenna. Here's my question. This is from Now I Am a Was, who actually got a question into Propagandhi in the interview coming up. Here's my question. Should I remind people when they drink milk, it's like sucking on a mummy cow's titty? Yes, absolutely. I think that's a wise thing to do. Well, I don't know.
It depends. Again, that's our answer to a lot of things. It depends.
Really?
Because a lot of people, there's a certain percentage of the population that would completely turn them off.
Yeah.
And they would just get angry. And then there's another part of the population to be like, oh yeah, I never thought about it that way.
That's true.
So it's hard to tell.
I think if you're with friends who have a good sense of humor, and they start giving you shit about your vegan things you're eating, and you'd be like, yeah, well, you're drinking pus, asshole. Like,
right.
I mean, and there is pus in there,
right.
So, or have you suddenly become a baby calf? Those kinds of things I think are worth pointing out. I think though, if you're like, you can be a little too dour sometimes if you're like,
yeah.
But
look at the death on your plate. Yeah.
Well, it is death on the plate.
I know.
I just think that. I think we need a variety of ways to deal with a variety of situations.
Exactly.
So, not everything is a hammer. What is that expression? If you give a hammer to a baby, the whole world is a nail. So, you give animal rights theory to a vegan, the whole world is the nail, right?
Right.
So I think we just need to not have only one tool in the box.
Okay.
To use a interesting description that could be taken as a dirty thing in a lot of places. Right. I can never say her name.
Me either.
Whatever. Anyway, she's been in touch with us several times. I apologize for screwing up your name. Sometimes I feel my veganism is becoming a habit rather than something active. Any ideas on how to get that edge back?
Get active.
I think so too. I think getting active is really important.
I mean, if it's one of the good things about veganism becoming a habit is that it becomes way easy.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the store, you know what to buy, you know what questions to ask when you go out to eat, and it's like, yeah, it's just the way I am. This is the way I live my life.
Yep.
And it's not like some major hassle or anything. So that's good. But at the same time, if it's bothering you that's all it is,
yeah,
you know, you get involved somehow. Either find some people locally that you can talk to or get involved with. Do some sort of activism that you're comfortable with or that, you know, can use some of your strengths.
Sure.
Get involved more in the forum. I don't know.
Yeah, I think these are all things that are really important. And it was, we talked about this earlier too. The need to connect with other vegans is so important in so many ways that I think that neglecting that is something you neglect at your own risk in a sense, because otherwise it just feels kind of alienating and frustrating. So, but I get what you're saying about it just being habit. That's a good thing, like Jenna said. But I also think apply those talents, leverage yourself, get out there and do something. And everybody has something they can do. No question.
Yep.
All right. Want to do a couple more?
Okay.
Let's see. What is your favorite meal to make when you have limited time? We kind of talked about that last week, right? Okay. What is your favorite restaurant, both local and global? Jenna?
Well, the thing is about where we live is that we only have two choices.
Right, but he said both local and global.
Okay.
So, locally speaking, we don't have a favorite restaurant.
We really don't have a favorite.
But there's one we will go to. Two
Yes.
we'll go to here where we live.
Two we'll go to. One's better than the other. Only in that because the people are really nice.
Yeah.
It's not because the food is great.
True.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not bad.
No, there's a Moroccan restaurant nearby and there's a pizza place nearby. Those are our favorite. Really, those. I mean, I would hesitate to call them favorites, but those are the places we will go if we have to eat around here. Now, in terms of moving out of here,
yes.
Where would you go? Where would your favorite restaurant be globally?
Speaking.
I mean, that would include places you've been around the country or around the world.
Right. That's a tough one.
I like Su Ching House in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
I think that food was really good there.
It was really good.
I like Chinese food a lot, so I'm going to err on that side of things generally. I've had very good food at Singapore in Philadelphia, the Singapore restaurant.
Thai cuisine in Ithaca.
Thai cuisine in
is
Ithaca
one of my favorite all-time restaurants.
Is a very good restaurant in general. They're very kind, they understand what vegans are. They will accommodate you perfectly. So those are a couple. As you can tell, we like Asian food generally very much. So others you want to put in there?
No.
No?
No. I had some pretty good food in New York City.
But I can't remember.
I can't remember where.
We ate tons of good food there.
So.
Let's see. Can you recommend a book or website? This is from K-Pole Ninja. Can you recommend a book or website for putting cats and dogs on a vegan diet? Maybe something with supplement info and recipes. I can't recommend putting cats on a vegan diet. And I know everybody's going to send us the nasty emails. My cat's been vegan for 30 years. Blah, 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 blah. Save it. I just don't think, I'm not convinced. I am not yet convinced that it is a safe thing to do to put cats on a vegan diet. So shoot me. I'm not going to go into it in a lot of depth. For dogs, on the other hand, I think dogs are classic omnivores and can be vegan very easily and very healthfully. And you had a book of recipes that, do you remember?
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember where I got it from. I think it was a recommendation maybe from someone on the forums.
If you make a note of it there, I will put it in the show notes.
Okay.
All right. So there's a book that, check the show notes when I put them up. There is a book full of vegan dog recipes that you can just buy some supplements and it's all sorted out. It's no problem. Another question, quick. Moose Maid. Any idea why does the vegan gourmet mozzarella taste like egg and not cheese? I have no idea. I've never had it. Have I?
The vegan gourmet?
Yeah.
Mozzarella?
Is that no, that's not Follow Your Heart.
Is it?
Is it?
I think. I have no idea.
I don't really know.
That most of the fake cheese substitutes out there are pretty bad.
Most of them are. Now, some people tell me they don't. I like teas, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Teas is a very good mozzarella. Some people say that it isn't as good as Follow Your Heart. I think teas.
I think it's better.
I think teas is significantly better, but that's me.
And Cheesley's the best, I think.
I think Cheesley is excellent. All right. Oh, let's see. Wasn't there one other question I missed somewhere in here that was good? Where is it? Where was it? Oh, how would you, this is from Vegan Kitty, how would you protect and defend yourself from rednecks if you lived in a town called Trout Town where only people come to hunt?
I would
move. We kind of do live in Trout Town right now.
Yeah.
And Vegan Kitty also has a similar question.
Wear a lot of orange.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we do around here. In the fall,
you have to
wear orange.
You really have
so
to.
you don't get shot.
Okay, another question, and then we're done here. The last question is, what is your favorite brand of tofu? I like Soy Boy.
Soy Boy, yes.
That's one you can get like in New York, right? I don't think they're national.
Are they?
Are they or aren't they?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but Soy Boy is the one I like.
It's nice. It's very firm.
If you're into firm, they've got the firm, man. They
Better
really
than Nasoya, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. Okay, are we...
I think we're done.
I am like...
Whew.
I'm totally shot.
Yes.
So...
On to our interview, finally.
Indeed. We never played the songs.
No. Well, you can play them throughout the interview. You can... No? Yes, no?
Sure.
We can play one now.
Okay, we will play... Now we will play... Which one do you want to play?
Do you want to play the humane meat or the tertium non dater?
Let's play humane meat.
Okay.
Because we talk about this one.
We talk about this one in the interview.
So, this is from... Blah, blah, blah. This is from... Supporting Caste. Out March 10th. This is called Humane Meat, the Flensing of Sandor Cates.
Ensure that his final moments were swift and free from fear. But consideration should be made for the fact that Sandor Cates was my first kill. So I trust the reader will understand that while the screens may well have seemed like conscious objections, they were in reality simply a request to honor his strength and speed. With gratitude and tenderness I seared every single hair from his body. Gently placed his decapitated head in a stock pot, pulled off his flesh and made a spreadable head cheese. 'Cause I believe that one can only relate with another living creature by completely destroying it. I'm sure Sandor's friends and family would appreciate this. A rationale so moronic it defies belief. Post-vegetarian, I must submit to you respectfully. Careful, what kind of will you wish for? Someday you may come knocking on your door. Let me in. Let me the fuck in. I just wanna fully relate. I swear I'll do my best to ensure that your final moments are swift and free from fear.
Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. The blood-curdling screams at the beginning are intense.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are amazing.
Uh-huh.
You got to get this album. The lyric booklet in it is...
The lyric booklet, it's awesome.
It's worth the price of admission.
Definitely.
It's very much worth the price of admission. So with that said, here is our interview. It is our great pleasure to be joined here on Vegan Freak Radio by Jesus H. Chris, or as he's probably better known, Chris Hannah from Propagandhi. Chris is on the show today to talk to us about Propagandhi's new album, Supporting Caste, which is due out within the week in most of the world. From the ills of neoliberal globalization to the dangers of masculinity, from issues as varied as how much ska sucks to sticking flags up your motherfucking ass, Propagandhi have never been afraid to stand up for their politics loud and clear, including the importance of veganism and the need to end animal exploitation. The two songs, Apparently I'm a PC Fascist and Nailing Descartes to the Wall / Liquid Meat is Still Murder, do an amazing job of encapsulating the frustrations that we all feel when our otherwise brilliant and productive friends won't consider the importance of going vegan. Their new album, Supporting Caste, pulls no punches. According to their own site, Supporting Caste launches crude rockets into the heart of the prevailing order with meditations that range in focus from the humane slaughter and consumption of non-vegans in an elaborate 18-course banquet with wine pairings to the apparent confusion of turning on the TV to watch a simple hockey game and having to wonder whether or not the Nazis actually lost the war after all. With 12 new, tight, melodic hardcore tracks, Supporting Caste may well be my favorite album of theirs to date, one that sticks to the Propagandhi tradition of blending solid politics with solid music. Today, we're fortunate enough to have the chance with Chris to talk about this new album and just about anything else that kind of comes up. Chris, welcome to Vegan Freak Radio.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, it's our pleasure. We're very happy to have you on. I kind of wanted to begin the interview with what I would like to... I'd like you to consider as a very serious question, and that is, why do you hate America so much, you terrorists?
Why do we hate America?
Let me count the ways. No, you don't really have to answer that. I mean, it should be pretty obvious by now. But if you want to, feel free.
No, well, I mean, I do think that I would include Canada in that question too. I would include the Western powers in that country in that question, and I hope for obvious reasons about imperialist agendas overseas and swings to the right. Although I'm told that there's a swing to the left in the States right now, but left in quotes, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's many reasons I think to hate or at least doubt the country you live in, you've been born into. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's such a central idea too, to just kind of question where you are and question where your country's at. I think it's the duty of any person.
Yeah, if you watch professional sports, you're told that you're not supposed to question it, though. I don't know about in the States, but we're subjected to blatant propaganda when you have to watch hockey up here. Armed Forces Appreciation Night, constant fetishization of dead soldiers. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, that one of the songs in your album really deals with that, like, so potently. Could you maybe talk about that a little bit?
You mean Dear Coach's Corner?
Yep.
Song?
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, actually. As a hockey fan and a kid who grew up, playing hockey since I was 5 years old, you're immersed in the culture. Like I would say the average male, and these days average female, but back when I was a kid, it was mostly just males. We're immersed in the culture of hockey, and it's once you're in, it's hard to get out. It's I love the game, I love the speed, the skill, the intensity. I love the atmosphere. Lots of things I love about the culture, but in terms of the professional representation of it on TV in Canada, it's the mouthpiece for the imperialist war agenda, the Canadian imperialist war agenda, particularly for the mission in Afghanistan right now. And it's so hard to stomach, watching this game you love so much and being subjected to total jingoist nonsense every time you turn on the TV. And particularly, that song is about me taking my niece to the Women's World Hockey Championships here in Winnipeg a couple of years ago, which was a great game, awesome. People should all go see the professional, or I guess it's amateur, but they should all go see the elite women's hockey that's developing in North America. It's very good. And at the end of the game, Canada won the game, great game. Suddenly the national anthem starts up, and soldiers begin to rappel down from the rafters. My niece turns to me and says, "Why do they have guns?" And it was the only reasonable question in the entire arena, as everyone else just stood up and cheered these soldiers that were... It was totally surreal. I just walked out of there with her. And I find it offensive that, her 6-year-old mind is being subjected to this blatant propaganda about what core values she should be developing, at this young age, and values that are antisocial, they're sociopathic. So that's where that song came from.
Dear Ron McLean, take Coach's Corner. I'm riding in order. to manage the distinction between these mandatory pre-game group rights of submission and the rallies at Nuremberg. Specifically the function the ritual serves in conjunction with what everybody knows is in the end a kid's game. I'm just appealing to your sense of fair play when I say she's puzzled by this incessant pressure for her to magnify collective will, metal ripping the bells as the soldiers inexplicably repel down from the arena rafters. If that's so insane, we'll be grounds for screaming laughter.
Absolutely. I mean, it's disgusting that so many different things within the societies we live in, particularly North America, have been turned into kind of arms of propaganda or arms of ideology for supporting these repressive state ideologies. It's depressing as hell and extremely frustrating and angering.
Right, particularly sports, which are essentially games, which are essentially for kids. So, you know, I mean, the function of the whole thing is pretty blatant, and I consider it a form of child abuse, to be honest.
Absolutely. It doesn't really I could see why your niece would be scared as hell. I mean, guys dropping down from the rafters with guns is a scary thing when you're 6. It's a scary thing when you're 36. I mean, yeah. So, I don't know. This kind of relates to one of the wider questions that we have about the music that you guys play. And a lot of people will say your music is too political. I mean, you know, there's always this kind of whining out there. Like, people just want you to shut up and play and quit ranting about everything. And the kind of less talk, more rock feeling. Or, you know, some people also can stomach the politics, but they can't seem to quite stomach all of them. I was reading up on the album on the web, and, you know, some guy on one of his blogs said that he loved the album and he was playing over and over in his car, but that the humane meat track really pissed him off and he couldn't deal with it. I mean, that just strikes me as kind of whining, but I'm curious, you know, what would you say to people like this about the kind of work you're doing?
Well, I mean, first of all, if what we're doing is considered political, it's only by default that, you know, we sing about the things that we think about, you know, and larger society considers those things political. On the other hand, not saying things in this very in a world where people are competing for people's values and people's minds and hearts, not saying something is a political act. Not engaging yourself is deferring to the interests of the prevailing order. So my answer to that would be there's no such thing as apolitical. Those people are essentially saying don't rock the prevailing order's boat. So there's no such thing as apolitical. That would be my ultimate statement on that. Yeah.
It's funny to hear you say that, because this is an argument I used to get into constantly when I used to teach. My students would always tell me that I was being too political, and I told them they were being too political by doing nothing. And we would always get into this big argument, but I mean, I absolutely agree. If you sit back and you do nothing, the way the world keeps going. The status quo is maintained in place, and that is a sad state of affairs. So what I like about a lot of the music that you guys have put out is that it really draws attention to these issues. And it's not often that I actually have to pull out a dictionary to listen to hardcore music, but I do when I'm listening to some of your music. It's cool.
We have to pull out a dictionary to write the music.
Like, for example, I had no clue until this morning what tertium non datur meant.
Good.
But I know now. But we'll talk about that in a second. So, Jenna, did you have?
Yeah. Well, while we're the pissed off person on the web talking about the humane meat track, that's actually one of my favorites from this new album, because the lyrics are just tremendous.
They are.
I mean, you seem just as fed up with all these foodie assholes as we are, because everyone seems to treat them like they're gods. Oh yeah, that's great, and they recognize that there's something wrong with eating meat, yet they don't stop, and they advocate it that people eat it anyway, just the nicer kind. So, and you've obviously dealt with this in this song. So, with irony, you say that I believe that one can only relate with another living creature by completely destroying it. So can you talk about this song a little bit more?
Well, yeah, it's essentially using, in particular, it's a book by a guy called Sandor Cates, and it's actually an otherwise good book about food politics. It's called The Revolution Will Not Be Microwaved, but he has a horrible chapter in there, completely embarrassing, about so-called happy meat or humane meat, and I basically just took his internal logic and changed the characters in the song, rather than it being him rationalizing his confinement, torture, terrorizing, mutilation, and killing of a pig to satisfy his cravings, quote unquote. It's me confining, torturing, maiming, mutilating, killing him to satisfy my cravings for his flesh or his secretions. And within the song, it's it admits this is an absurd rationale, but to me, it just lays bare the absurdity of his attempt at rationalizing what he's doing.
A rationale so moronic it defies belief. Post-vegetarian, I must submit to you respectfully. Be careful, what kind of will you wish for? Someday you may come knocking on your door.
And it doesn't have to be a human as the subject of the song. It could be the neighbor's, pet dog, and people would have the same reaction. They would find it insane. But as soon as you remove that element from it, it becomes this an animal that is traditionally used for human food or for human pleasure. People no longer care.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the ways that, it's I think one of the most useful ways to point out speciesism is substitute human or dog for what you're doing to the animal, and then people start to understand, wait, that makes no sense. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we could... go ahead.
And this whole, I find it so arrogant, the term post-vegetarian, as if it's an evolution beyond not eating, withdrawing your support from the animal exploitation industry. It's actually just reverting to what you were before that, which was a supporter of the animal exploitation industry. So it's just absurd.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I find it super depressing that things are moving in this direction more and more. Every year since we've been involved in kind of doing the writing and speaking that we've been doing, this kind of creeping idiocy of humane meat or of happy meat, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it kind of makes me wish that Michael Pollan would just, well, I don't want to say anything too hasty, but I just wish he would, I'm tired of the whole Michael Pollan thing, because that book gets so much attention and his ideas get so much attention, and so many people think that they're being so progressive and so cool when they do the Michael Pollan thing, but in fact, it's not really all that progressive. I mean, it's a kinder form of slavery, and it's so frustrating to me, and I feel like that stuff is actually sabotaging the efforts that vegans are making to get other people to see animal exploitation as it really is.
Right. There's another way of looking at it, though, and I almost think that because there's more than just it's Michael Pollan, Sandor Cates, Catherine Friend writing all these fucking books that intentionally try to make people feel better about shitty decisions. I think it could be considered an indicator of the strength of the animal liberation movement that they've run out of arguments, out of just purely reactionary arguments, and they're trying to develop these more sophisticated arguments for rationalizing what they do. Maybe that's seeing the glass is half full, but I think that's where I'd like to think that's where this is all coming from. Unfortunately for them, it's very easy to lay bare the idiocy of their arguments, and I think people who are right now trying to become post-vegetarian foodies are going to be very embarrassed in 5 years at having been part of it when more of the general public has conceded that how animals are treated in these situations is as cruel or as stupid as